Well, cock-a-doodle-doo, it's morning in California, baby. It is the Pele Report for August 5th, 2026. What's going on out there? A little astrology for the soul. What's going on inside? What's going on outside? A lot, right? Oh my God. Things are freaking crazy. Let's get into it a little bit. The astrology of it is that what? Mars in Gemini. It's been a while, a couple months of, just like this and this and that. And I'll talk about that, but it's going into Cancer by next Tuesday. So there's going to be a change there. Venus, been in Virgo. Get it together, clean it up, maintain, work, get the health act together. Oh my goodness, and what? Boom. Tomorrow, she goes into Libra. Mercury in Cancer, dealing with mom, dealing with fam, dealing with dad, dealing with, the inner emotional changes and whirlpools and thinking about the past and boom, changing, going into Leo on Sunday. Holy jeez. So we have a shift with these three personal planets all changing signs, right? The moon is in her final phase. We have a 3/4 square today. I'll read you the Sabian symbol for 13 degrees, 40 minutes of Taurus. Hitting that sun at 13 degrees, 40 minutes of Leo. And then they're moving on. Third quarter, waning, right? She's getting smaller and smaller. She's rising later and later. You have to wake up in the middle of the night if you want to see her, and preparing. And this is what part of what the mantra is for today and what I'm going to be talking about today, the solar eclipse. We have a solar eclipse coming next Wednesday, 20 degrees, 2 minutes of Leo. Yeah. So I want to be talking about that a little bit. And there are other aspects going on. There's so many aspects, as these planets change signs, of course, they're hitting the basket. Right? Pluto is in early Aquarius, Neptune's in early Aries, Uranus is in early Gemini, Taurus is in Chiron is in early Taurus. So as these planets change signs, we're going to see that, this week and next week, everything's getting triggered, man. Everything's getting triggered. I don't know if I'm going to make it all the way down to the river. I haven't been here. This is kind of like another part of my property I haven't seen yet. It's just, but it's so freaking steep, man. We'll see. All right, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there because, you know why? I got too much work to do. And you may be feeling a little bit the same way. Here is Jupiter in Leo, wanting to travel, wanting to go on holiday, wanting to have fun. And I know some of you are, you lucky dogs. But I'll tell you, that Pluto opposition, and we're going to be dealing with this North Node in Aquarius, South Node in Leo for a year and a half. I'm going to be talking about it a lot in a special eclipse webinar that I'm doing, August 30th. I'll be taking these moon's nodes, through the 12 houses. So you can kind of see what's going on for you and where the soul wants to be headed. The North Node of the moon, Rahu. Yeah, dragon's head. Where are we going? And to me, a little bit unfortunately, we're going to Aquarius. And, Aquarius, there's a plus and a minus to everything, And, the plus side of Aquarius obviously is the Uranian side. of Aquarius, which is rebel and revolt and open your third eye, and Prometheus, the light bearer, like wake up. And that's what this whole, age of Aquarius is all about. The next 2,000 years, is like this, this Buddhism kind of non-attachment and see the big picture, come together in community. Okay, there's this beautiful side of Aquarius, and then there's the shadow side, right? There's the downside. The downside of Aquarius, okay, which we are also experiencing quite intensely right now, right, is the Saturn. Before they discovered Uranus, Aquarius has always been ruled by Saturn. And what is Saturn? Saturn is control, domination, whether it's the World Health Organization or the World Bank or the government, or now it's high tech. I spent most of my day yesterday, okay, dealing with this bullshit, okay, that is now coming out. It's like, so my phone would not download apps in the United States because I've been living in Costa Rica, and it had the wrong country. And so I couldn't get, my bank, I couldn't get Venmo, I couldn't get, Home Depot, I couldn't get all, these places that I need to get now, right? I go over to AT&T, oh, well, I can't fix it. I'm just a salesman. You got to call, 611, for tech support. I go home, I call 611 for tech support. I give them the whole big story. She says, oh, well, I'll transfer you to somebody who can help you. After I tell her to spend 10 minutes, right? After I authenticate your account. What is your passcode? Right? It's like, well, there's this PIN number, and now there's the passcode, and there's the two-step verification, and then she comes up with a fan code, and I'm like, PIN code, passcode, fan code, authentic. It's driving me freaking nuts. And then she sends me over to some other, tech support person. And they go, oh, no, this is not AT&T, man. You have to call Samsung. So I spend, another, hour. This like took most of my day. Like, I've got work to do. I've got land to take care of. We got things to do. But this is what Mars and Gemini is doing. This Venus and Virgo squaring the Mars. Has this been like not a freaking, Venus is like, I got to get work done. And, and Mars over here in Gemini is, just like all over the place. And Jupiter in Leo is like, I'm taking on more. I can do it. Until it's overwhelmed. And then what? Pluto, Aquarius, the technology, society, the warmongers, okay? And this is this bullshit about, it's for your own security. Bullshit, it's for my security. I'll tell you what these people want to do. They want to capture our attention on the phone, on the screen, as long as they possibly can, dilly-dallying around with their stupid freaking this and that and this and that and this and that, and it's just like, oh my God, two-step, then it's going to be, three-step verification. Then we're going to need four-step verification. Then we're going to need five-step verification. This is just a bunch of crap. And you know what? It's like, I really don't care if people know my information. Give me a break, man. This is not for me. Okay? Yeah, maybe some billionaires or something, or, they're going to break into, the treasury or some corporation. But, in terms of like just people on the street, just us kind of people, come on. I'm not buying it. I'm buying that, keep people under control, keep them afraid of cyber attacks and afraid of this and afraid of that and afraid of their next door neighbor and afraid of a mouse crawling across the room and afraid to, get in their car and drive it. I mean, it just, terrify everybody. Hunker them down. They won't rebel. They won't revolt. They won't do Leo. And here's the sun in Leo. Jupiter in Leo. Creative. Wanting, the space and the time and the freedom to create something new, something different, something never been seen before, heard before, done before, danced before. Come on. So there is this tug of war going on with Leo and Aquarius, and it's going to be going on for the next year and a half, if not the next 20 years, with Pluto moving through Aquarius. This big, deep, heavy, powerful force of it's transforming, and we can only, I would say we need to be transformers, or else we will be transformed by them, the machine. As Pink Floyd would say, welcome to the machine, right? I mean, so it's like, yeah, wow. We have to keep the heart. Leo rules the heart, yeah? We have to stay human. We have to come into, this world, our bodies, our hearts, our lives, and really, wow, balance out, our role in society. And it's not, all about, the outside. I want to read to you. So now we're coming into this third quarter square moon this week, right? And it's, yeah. I'll read you the Sabian symbol because it speaks for itself, On the beach, children play while shellfish grope at the edge of the water. Little crabs, little shellfish. Freaking love those guys, right? In the tide pools and everything. The keynote is returning to simpler joys for revitalization. This somewhat ambiguous picture suggests the way in which simultaneous activities of different natures can fill the individualizing mind. The consciousness of socialized people operates at two levels, in close parallelism with what goes on in the unconscious parts of the mind, the sea. The beach is where the conscious land mind meets the unconscious water of the sea. Natural urges are half conscious, half unconscious. They exist in a borderland, the wet sands still partly covered by small lapping waves. The children play a little farther away, learning imaginative yet socio-cultural games. This symbol suggests that it is better not to attempt at once more than one can achieve through conscious and ego-driven ambition. It refers to the value at this stage of close contact with natural energies and simple pleasures. of, in capital letters, live and let live attitude. Lately, I've been in a little live and let die. Bum, bum. That's an old song from a James Bond movie. And life's simple pleasures are the best. And I was thinking that this the song for this week could be Simple Man, but I've done Simple Man before, and I got another one, and that other one is to do with the themes of what is going on, right? And the mantra for this week, and this closing. We're just closing a big, long chapter. Chiron going back and forth on the cusp of Taurus and Aries. Gemini going back, and Uranus going back and forth on the cusp of Gemini and Taurus. The thing is that this Sun-Jupiter conjunction in Leo was kind of a like Superman, Wonder Woman, I got this, I can do it, hey! And Mars and Gemini, we could have spread out the butter on our toast and run out before we got to the edges. And Venus in Virgo hates that. It's like, Venus in Virgo, it's like you got to get the butter all the way out to the edges of the toast. I mean, come on. So there is a little bit of this driving ourselves nuts, right? Trying to juggle all the balls and balance everything. And now it's time to wrap it up. We're wrapping up the age of Pisces. We're wrapping up a year and a half of the North Node in Pisces. It's time. It's time, like, what? You're at a restaurant and you have your dinner, and then it comes time to pay the bill. Reality strikes. It's time to wrap it up. This is the third quarter phase of the moon. Getting smaller, waning. She's going to go through the rest of Taurus, and then she's going to move into Gemini, tomorrow, and hit Mars, move into Cancer on Sunday, right? Move on through Cancer, cross over Mercury, come into Leo, and then by then, the sun will have moved up close to the south node of the moon. This is a south node solar eclipse. And it harkens back to February 17th. Go back to February 17th. Okay? Very interesting. There was a solar eclipse, in Aquarius, followed by a lunar eclipse, over there happening in Virgo. Now we have a solar eclipse in Leo, 2 weeks later, followed by a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So we're on the cusp, right? We're in this transitional phase. And so it's time to wrap it up. And part of this wrapping up, I just want to get into, right, the mantra for this week. I take full responsibility for all that I have done, good or bad, helpful or hurtful. It's time that I move on. There comes a time in everyone's life where you have to pay the bill, where you have to finish things up. And even if they're not finished up, you couldn't eat everything on your plate. You still have to pay for it, right? We may have overextended ourselves, right? We may have made mistakes. We may have hurt people. We may have helped people. Life goes on this freaking merry-go-round. The waves come and hit the beach, and then there's this constant inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Life is just like, and our emotional states, okay? And we're going to really feel this as Mars goes into Cancer coming up, okay? Where our emotions are going to really be getting triggered, all right? For these next couple of months is going to be very emotional. And this solar eclipse in Leo is going to be very, intense and highly emotional. But what it is it's going to be a new start. It's a new moon. It's a powerful new moon. So we want to plan for it. It's not just like, okay, I'm done and I'm paying the bill. I'm done, I'm paying the bill because I got to get out of here. I got stuff to do. I've got stuff to create. I've got a life to live. I've got a party. Or I've got to, whatever, plant my garden. I got to get back out there. I got to go swimming in that river. That river's calling me. I can't be sitting here in the restaurant eating, just like, no way. So we want to take this week, wrap it up, and it's just like, you don't need to like be beating yourself up. The Venus in Virgo wants to be perfect all the time, and Mars in Gemini is not afraid of making mistakes. But and then Mercury, Mercury is coming into Leo too, right? And then we're going to have Sun, Jupiter, South Node, Mercury, all in Leo. Fire. There's been a lot of fires. There's going to continue to be a lot of fires. Yeah, Sun, Jupiter, and Leo. This is really a time to keep your water tanks full. Man, oh man. So, too much fire can be dangerous, right? Too much enthusiasm, inspiration, optimism. I can do. I got this. I. It's like, whoa, horsey. This is the downside, and I feel like that Saturn in Aries is really calling us to task. Don't forget, okay? You've got to pay the bill for that meal, whether it's a Taco Bell, McDonald's, or the extravagant, elite, fine bottle of champagne. Saturn is just like, calling for the dues. Calling for the dues. We're living in this third dimensional world, and there's limitations. And there's boundaries. So it's like, all right, we just want to say, taking responsibility. We can look at it as karma. It's like, okay, yeah, what goes around comes around. And it's a mixed bag. Nobody is all bad, and nobody is all good. Nobody is perfect, and nobody is an absolute sinner and imperfect. So we're all, this is like, we just want to keep the ability to respond. So taking responsibility is just saying that, if I need to apologize, I apologize, and, if somebody is, giving me praise and thanking me, I take it in and I accept it and I appreciate, and I receive. So I receive the good stuff, and I receive the challenges and the criticism. And, and I'm going to put it all, it's just like, what? Life is. We can have our egoic ambitions, like the Sabian symbol says, but we're not always going to accomplish or realize all of those ambitions. We may fall short. Other people, our partners may fall short. Society may fall short. There can be disappointment. This third quarter square moon, this, moving into the balsamic phase of the moon, we deal with disappointment. We deal with letting go. We deal with, our ideals not always being met. Are we going to go down with the Titanic? Are we going to go down with the ship? Are we going to beat ourselves up because we failed or made a mistake or somebody let us down or somebody lied to us or, they're giving, Lockheed $58 billion to make more bombs? No, we're not going to let that, we're not going to let that drag us down the toilet, man. We're going to let it go, and we're going to what? Ramble on. That's the song for this week. A little rock and roll with a little Led Zeppelin. Now's my time to sing my song. I gotta ramble on. Going round the world. Gotta get on my way. Ah, yeah. Move on. Let it go. Everything's going to be the way it's going to be. We're not going to say it's going to be all right. That would be going back to innocent idealism. It's not going to be all right. It's going to be life. It's going to be a mixed bag. And what we got to do is we got to be tough. And we got to take the hit. We got to pay the bill. And we got to stay soft. We got to keep dreaming. We got to keep creating. We got to keep loving, through hell and high water. We got to be the kids on the beach. And we got to keep on playing, even if a freaking big wave comes in and wipes out your towel and messes up your phone. I will take full responsibility, okay? For all that I've done. Just own it. And that's also the success. You've probably done some great stuff. Take the applause. Take the compensation. Take the money. Get it while you can. It's yeah. So responsibility is not always like a burden and a weight. It can be whoa, yeah, man. I'm taking responsibility because they want me to lead the next orchestra. Yeah, I'll take that responsibility. I'll lead that freaking orchestra. Come on. It can be, so opportunities. Taking responsibility can be a really awesome, fun thing if that responsibility is an expression of your true self and your true purpose. Wow. Responsibility is opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I get all fired up over this shit. All right. I take full responsibility for all that I have done. Good or bad, helpful or hurtful. It's time that I move on. Move on, baby. Let it go. It just is. It just was. You cannot change the past. You can just be this much better. You see how this much. You can be this much better every day. Don't beat yourself up. Take it easy. Let that moon, and then we're going to be ready for that solar eclipse. If we do our good work this week, okay, clear off the plate, pay the bill, get out of that restaurant, and be free to recreate yourself anew. Talk at you later. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Oh, yeah.